which actually is a very good movie.
I've heard. I thought you liked the first Paul Blart.
I actually do like the first Paul Blart, but it's not good. It's stupid, but it is funny.
It's enjoyably bad.
It's enjoyably bad. I admit. Well, we're recording now. I admit the first Paul Blart is fine.
It's official. Anyway.
Okay. Now it's time for...
Welcome to the OC, bitch!
Hey, everybody. Yes, indeed, it is time for Welcome to the OCB. And we've got episodes, what are we looking at? 17 through 20 now. We're actually almost done this first season.
What?
Although I think because it started in the summer, there is maybe 29 episodes or something. Let me see.
Don't know.
27 episodes.
Okay.
So we only have, I think, 2 more of our roundups for this first season, and then we move on.
I guess we do.
To season 2, or we don't.
Stop.
But I think we'll keep moving on.
We'll get to the gunfight.
This is already our 5th video for this.
It's weird.
Yeah, very weird. So we're going to talk about the rivals, the truth, the heartbreak, and the telenovela.
Mm-hmm.
And I like reading from this booklet because the descriptions are just so bizarre.
Terrible.
They're terrible. All right, so the rivals. So basically, if you're new to this show, hello, welcome to the OCB.
Thank you. Episode 5.
Episode 5. And go back and watch the other ones too. But we do talk spoilers here, so if you're not familiar with the OC or don't want to know what happens,
spoiler warning.
Go to HBO Max and you can watch the episodes for free there if you have a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the rivals. People who won't be on each other's Christmas card list. Ryan and Oliver.
That's true.
Their rivalry for Marissa intensifies. Christmas cards. This aired in January. What are you talking about Christmas cards for? We already did Christmas last time.
Terrible.
Their rivalry for Marissa intensifies with Ryan risking his standing at Harbor to unmask Oliver's true character. There's a lot to talk about with that one.
That's true.
Episode 18, The Truth. Julie wears out her welcome with Caleb. True. Seth thinks Summer is hot. True. What is this? Who writes this?
This is not good.
Oliver is crazy mad about Marissa. True. Now sure of it, Ryan races against time to keep Oliver from hurting himself or Marissa. I thought there was going to be a false somewhere in
False!
there, the way they were talking.
Oh.
All right.
Because what is the actual...
The heartbreak.
Oh.
I want to get paid to write these. I could do a much better job with these people. Episode 19, The Heartbreak. Time to forgive and forget. Or so Marissa thinks.
Oh, man.
But Ryan isn't ready in the presence of former love, Teresa, at the Valentine dance. This is Teresa's, yep.
Oh, yeah.
Adds to Marissa's concerns. Summer and Seth work on the mechanics. They were effing, and we'll talk about that. All right. And episode 20, the telenovela. That Ryan-Marissa thing is more iffy than ever when Teresa hangs in Newport. That telenovela-like sudzo-rama overflows with the Seth-Summer follies, the Luke-Julie fling, and an insider who may be a threat to the Caleb-Kristen biz.
These descriptions are so
They're
vague.
horrible.
You need to explain to me what... Because
we don't even know what happened.
I don't even know what happened in any of those.
We saw them and we don't know.
That description... Look.
All right.
You know, maybe that's part of the brilliance. I do have a question for you when we get through...
Maybe they want you, if you haven't seen it...
To wonder.
It's
no
spoiler
spoilers.
free.
It's kind of cryptic, but it's interesting.
Maybe that's the point.
And
they want to be spoiler free.
And that's kind of a question I want to ask you at the end of this. And we'll probably talk about it when we're wrapping up the season, but I'm going to save it. But it has to do specifically with Marissa.
Okay.
But it kind of relates to OC and things I've been hearing about it recently. So
okay.
I just keep that in mind as we're going.
Okay. I absolutely will.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to all of that. Now, when last we saw the gang, Oliver was really pushing the boundaries of humanity.
Believable, acceptable.
And Marissa was going along with it hook, line, and sinker, which she is again and again in these episodes until finally it comes to a head at the hotel room, I think in episode 18, when basically he takes her as a hostage, essentially.
Without a gun.
He's got a gun. He's going to kill himself, maybe. Hurt her.
Well, we're bouncing around a bit, right? I guess because we're...
Well, I think the Oliver story is the most important because we were really hinging on that the last time. So let's talk about all the Oliver stuff at once.
Okay.
So first...
the
Ryan...
Building up on the whole, let's slowly get Ryan baited into in trouble. And nobody really believes him. Everybody's like...
Nobody believes him, except for Luke.
Well, Luke, yes.
Luke believes him, and actually Summer. A little bit.
A little bit. They kind of sense something
Summer sees that something's off.
Like with the whole, I guess, bait. It was actually quite brilliant. this guy is like a
He
supervillain.
is a supervillain, man.
He gives her the note,
Yeah.
and Ryan checks it out, and it's not actually like a love note or anything.
Well, it sort of is, but he pretends that it's a love note to his girlfriend Natalie.
Yes.
Who
Does
doesn't
not
exist, but we find out
But it was
is based on, he stole the name from somebody,
the whole
but we'll get to
thing
that.
was just baited to get Ryan insecure, so we'd get the letter so that it would, breach that boundary.
Yes.
And the rest would be like, "What are you doing?" Like, and I loved that term where Ryan admits that he made a mistake. He's gonna kind of back off, and then that's when he's like, "Ha ha ha ha." Ha.
Yeah. Then because he gets in so much trouble at school because
then
he
he goes,
literally
bam.
breaks into school
Yeah.
to look at his record, Oliver's record, because he just knows something is amiss.
Yep.
And
But I just
does
love
Luke
it.
go along with him? No, he goes by himself.
Yes.
But Luke believes him.
Luke was supposed to meet up
And Luke
later,
wants
but
to
then
beat the hell out of this dude.
he ended up beating something else.
He ended up beating into Marissa's mom.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. So, and by the way, we should point out, looking at the ratings, this was one of the highest rated episodes of the series. Look at this: 13 million people almost watched
That's why
this
we need
episode,
these.
and that's the highest of the entire season.
Ooh, well,
These two episodes, the Oliver episodes,
well, look,
almost 13 million viewers.
that kind of coincides with
It's
our
amazing.
feelings because we got so invested with this Oliver thing.
Very
Like,
invested
this
with
is
the
just-
Oliver bit.
It's just he was so evil,
Very evil.
conniving,
Yeah, very
but,
cunning.
but disturbed.
Very.
I
Yeah,
guess.
clearly
We-
mental
we-
problems.
We do get to see that he is,
and we see that
yeah.
his parents have certainly
Given up on
basically abandoned him.
Yeah.
As an adult.
So that's there's something going on there. But he's plans things out pretty well, manipulative for somebody who's so
Yes.
insecure.
Basically, as soon as Ryan gets in trouble, he just, like you said, he takes that to pounce.
Yep.
And say, look, I am going after Marissa, and there's nothing you can do about it because she don't believe you. Get bent.
And you're gonna get kicked out of school.
Yeah,
if you
you're
keep
gonna get kicked out of
pushing this.
school. Yep.
And Sandy and Kirsten are like, we're basically gonna ground you. Don't go across the house.
Yeah, basically, he got in so much trouble at school.
They're like, we might, come down and
First, he just has detention, but then they're like really talking suspension, expulsion, and then your buddy from Star Trek, the wife of the person,
Keiko,
Keiko,
Miss O'Brien. Yeah.
she
Principal
is like
O'Brien.
the principal here in the school, and she sits Marissa down and says, like, look,
We have to talk about
about this person you're hanging out with, and she thinks it's Oliver, and it turns out, no, I'm talking about Ryan, lady. Big news. I was like, oh my god.
Big switch.
So now she doesn't even believe Ryan.
Yeah.
Oliver has everybody fooled
Everybody against her.
except Luke. Luke knows.
Luke, is probably the most fascinating thing.
Well, okay, so
I-
Luke knows why, because
He's
he
kind of
was
been
a
there.
bully himself.
He also had the thing for Marissa, so
Thing from Marissa. You're right.
He kind of knows how, I guess, can sense it, that vibe. He knows being a bully.
And he knows that Marissa's a big dummy and will fall for anything.
She is very gullible.
But also, he was there at the golf resort.
Before, so he knows.
He's
that
the only
something's up.
one really that saw the real
But
attack.
everybody else saw it though.
Yeah, but Oliver played it off to everybody
It was an
as,
accident.
"Oh, I was just kidding around."
Yeah, ramming into somebody with a
But
golf
Luke,
cart.
who was there
In
in
the
the other
cart.
cart,
Like, hey,
knew
man.
that was not true.
Exactly.
So I think Luke is a great confidant here.
Yes.
Wants to beat the heck out of Oliver, but Ryan decides, no, let me take care of it myself. But we were getting mad at Ryan because he wasn't opening up to Sandy
That was
about what was happening.
That was kind of one of the big things while we were watching it, that we kind of had like a triple sort of debate, frustration about like how far to go. Like our buddy Alex was like really kind of wanted to just go after him, punch him, take him out, and we were kind of like, well,
All right,
I was
look.
frustrated because Ryan was like
Alex does not have a realistic view of, he just wants to beat everybody up. And in the real world, you have consequences.
and that's the thing. We were getting kind of frustrated with, like, I'm like, no, go to school,
Right.
do your test, like, but
Do the thing.
So I was actually like, I was getting frustrated that Ryan was pushing it so far. Like, you just like have a night where you just like
he
when
really
Sandy comes
turned
to him.
into kind of an obsessive person, though, even though he was right in
He
the
was
end.
right, but it's like he really couldn't like prioritize. Like if Marissa wants to go down this path, but he cares about her, he loves
Yeah.
her. So I guess that's the most important thing. But it did step. I felt like there could have been a night where it's like, look, when Sandy comes to him, all right, I'm staying inside tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like a little bit.
that bothered me.
Like I think they went a little too far with it.
He's already on such thin ice, but Marissa still does live across the street, so he went over the one night to talk to her about
But then
stuff.
They were disappointed, and it was just across
And she
the
didn't
street.
believe him, of course.
Yeah, but remember,
And ran off. That's when she ran off to the hotel.
and at that same time, remember, Ryan is also saying at this point he talks to the mom.
Yes, that's right.
He has her best interest at heart.
Okay, so right, that's a great point.
I remember
that scene. You are remembering. So that scene, the mom comes in, and she has a couple of side stories in these few episodes.
We'll get there.
But we'll get there. But
I kind of like the mom now.
Yeah, actually, she was a love to hate in the first half of the season.
No, I just
and
kinda like
now she's really got some interesting things going
Well,
on. And you do kind of feel bad for her in some instances.
She's growing.
So she and Ryan are sitting down at the Cohen breakfast table, and obviously she hates him, as always.
Hello,
so
Ryan,
you know, what does it say that he's coming to her with this?
Desperate times.
Desperate times. So he's like, "Look, nobody else will believe me. Please, please believe me. Oliver's bad news. Da 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 da. Song and dance." And she does
try to set up a dinner,
mention it to her, and she gets real pissed about it and flies off the handle and leaves.
Yep.
Classic.
And that's kind of what leads into when that whole big gun situation where she's like, okay, then she finally realizes. Well, she realizes
because she goes to the hotel to be with him.
Oh, and that's where they start drawing connections about. Oh, this person is named after this person that works here.
Oh, okay, because Luke.
Remember,
since the only person who believed him
goes to a hotel, and he doesn't tell him which hotel, so that's why he doesn't get there.
No, but Luke has friends at other schools, and apparently the school that Oliver went to. So he goes on a little fact-finding mission and realizes there is no Natalie. There never was a Natalie.
And he's had issues.
He's had a bunch of issues.
Previous girlfriend tried to kill himself.
Yeah, restraining order or something, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So then, why doesn't Luke get there for real?
Because he wants to get.
He is busy having sex with Marissa's mom, who, as we find out earlier, so the first half of the Marissa mom story is with Kirsten. She is going to be working with Kirsten at the office.
Interior decorator.
And it goes horribly.
Hey.
But she actually has some great ideas.
I actually like some of her ideas.
And Kirsten actually came around on her ideas, too.
Remember, what turns around with her dad is like, you know what, I can't stand her now, it's too much. I want you to break up with her.
Yes, basically, he makes Kirsten break up, with her for
bad.
What a weak man.
Like, that's so bad.
It really is. So she does that, and then the two of them kind of bond. Who they've been having problems,
but they're now more friends now.
But now they're being friendly. But because she's now vulnerable from being broken up with by Caleb, and she's already lost her husband in the last year. Da 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 da. So Luke comes over to talk about Marissa, gather some clothes to bring her to the hotel, and they end up having a little moment, which we see then throughout the next couple of episodes.
Develops.
They start a little bit of an affair, a little bit of a fling, which we thought they were going to get caught at the hotel.
That was good.
And again, OC subverting what we thought.
That was when
because it was when Ryan's old buddy,
ex-girlfriend,
is there, Teresa.
Yeah.
She's in the same hotel,
like
motel, I should say. And we assumed, Marissa was going to go talk to her. We assumed, oh my God, they're going to see Luke.
Meet eye contact.
Completely didn't, which I thought was very good.
That was good.
All right, so the Oliver stuff, before we wrap that up, anything else to say? So it turns out, obviously, Ryan was right. I guess the next couple episodes, so this basically, the fallout. Marissa
tries to pretend almost like nothing happened.
Pretend like nothing happened. All ditzy, like, let's just go to this Valentine's dance together. He's like, nothing doing, lady. What?
I need time to kind of get used to this again.
And some people were sure that she didn't apologize.
She didn't apologize.
Well, we didn't see her apologize, I guess.
Well,
but
I think she
we
does
don't know.
eventually, but there isn't really a scene where she ever expresses, "Hey, I'm sorry for the fact that I was wrong. Thank you for saving."
She did say that she was wrong, though. Eventually,
took most of an episode, I think, to get there.
I guess.
It was frustrating.
And so he was mad about it, and by the end of these 4 episodes, episode 20, he's still not with her. He's decided that, you know what, I need time with this. Like, you didn't believe me. You completely lost my trust.
Well, if you look at
and this and
everything
that.
we've seen at the show up to this point, trying to get with this girl has not been easy. How much has he had to go through just to keep
No,
her around?
and she ain't worth it.
The fights,
If I'm being honest.
the mistrust, and then all this stuff with Oliver. It's like how naive she's
Fights, her
the mom hating
him
her,
and Luke thing,
the Luke thing, like this,
and then
so
the
much,
mom.
and then her getting drunk, stealing things, the almost ODing. Like it's been
Yes.
hard,
and really constantly getting him in trouble, realistically.
and also not believing him and being so difficult to the
Right.
point where it's borderline unrealistic.
And let's keep in mind, he got Oliver out of jail
But yes,
at the Rooney concert because of Sandy, but like he called Sandy. Marissa had nothing to do with that. She didn't even know really what was
That's
going
right.
on.
He didn't even ever say that he did that.
No. No, I think she knew. I think they talked about it.
He didn't rub it in anybody's face.
Well, he's not a jag.
The point is that
So-
he should, as you said while we were watching, he should have just left him in jail.
I would have. I really would have. That would have been
The end of the
Oliver.
storyline.
Goodbye.
Well, then-
Don't have to deal with
then
you anymore.
They would have had all this entertaining drama.
Well, I agree, and that's why it's a show. But if it's the real world, I would have left him there, to be completely honest.
Damn.
And then we would really have known he's a bad dude. He's trying to buy drugs at the concert, whatever.
True.
All right, so
That's that.
That's the fallout. That's, I think, all the Ryan stuff, really, and Marissa.
Pretty much. I guess also his ex comes back and there's a little.
Oh yeah, I guess there's
with
a little,
the Valentine's.
That's
Day.
true. Let's talk about that then before any of the
Always
other
trying to
characters.
just skip it.
Well, there's so much.
See,
I forget.
it comes back.
So we've mentioned now Teresa a few times.
She's working at the place where they're having the party.
She's
right?
now a caterer, and she's working for this catering company. And of course, we met her on Thanksgiving when they went back to Chino.
Still one of my favorite episodes.
That Thanksgiving one, very good episode.
Where things get grainy and shaky cam. And
They go
outside
outside the OC and everything gets grainy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she shows up at this Valentine's party. They kind of have a little moment of like, oh, this is great to see you, da 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 da. And he doesn't really make any, promises to like let's go out or whatever. But there's certainly something there because obviously him and Marissa are on the rocks. So Marissa gets very jealous of this. And we find out then in that last episode, we saw episode 20, that she has a boyfriend that was in Buffy.
Yes.
He was in the first couple episodes of Buffy. He was Xander's friend. That's where we knew him from.
We figured that out. And he proposed to her. They're like engaged, but she didn't talk about.
Proposed to her. I mean, she's 17 at this point.
He's a bit older.
Yeah, not a ton, but like I think he's like 23 maybe or something.
So it's a little...
So it's a little maybe sketchy. And then... But she doesn't know what she wants to do.
And she's kind of almost running away, hoping Ryan will kind of save
Ryan
her.
lies to him and says, "Oh, I haven't seen Teresa. She hasn't been here.
Well,
I don't
she
know."
implies that she's trying to get away. We thought it was like a bad thing. It was like he a bad guy.
We thought maybe he was beating her or something. We didn't know.
But she's just afraid to commit, basically.
Yeah, a little young.
A little young to do it.
Maybe.
Probably.
So that's part of it, but that's still, I guess, sort of. I don't know where we left that. At the end of that episode,
That's kind of still hanging.
he calls her from work.
Yeah.
And she answers the phone, but then when she's waiting for him to come to the phone or whatever, she calls his work. That's what it is. When she's waiting for him to come to the phone,
Do they get...
Ryan comes to the motel to see her.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Remember?
I guess that's where they
So they
left
never
off.
actually talk, as far as we know, yet.
We didn't really resolve that.
So they might
storyline.
resolve that. We'll see, I guess.
Will OC.
You're right. I can see right here from the wiki page, episode 21, Teresa's boyfriend from Chino arrives bringing trouble. So
Well, that's it.
So there we go. So this storyline will
Wikipedia's
clearly continue.
descriptions isn't much better. At least it tells us what
It tells
happens.
us some things, I would say. So that storyline will continue, obviously. All right, so let's see. That's really all for Ryan and Marissa now.
Summer and Seth, is that next? Or do we do Sandy and...
Yeah, because I guess we talked basically about Kirsten and the mom. And that whole thing, and Kayla being a douche and not wanting to break up with her.
That's pretty much it.
That's kind of all that happens. But I agree with you. We sort of glossed over what you said. I do agree she's getting
better.
Some good character development. And actually,
she was a great villain.
In terms of an arc,
best.
She's got one. I don't know if it's the best so far.
At least she has.
I think Luke is still the best, but.
Well, yeah, but his arc is more subtle. Actually.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really explore it.
That's true, I guess.
But you're right. I think he's got the best growth, but it's weird. oddly natural.
She sort of went from supervillain
to
to
kind of sympathetic,
a
goofball.
bit sympathetic. Yeah, I wouldn't say she's the greatest, but
No, she's definitely flawed, but that makes her interesting. I'll be honest though, as far as
Right.
villains, I guess Oliver's technically probably maybe a better.
I would say
villain.
so far
He's over the top
in the show.
but I liked her as a villain.
Of the 20 episodes, I think Oliver probably is the biggest villain of them all.
But is he your favorite? Because I still think
No,
I think
I would
Mom
say
was
Mom
great
is the favorite.
when she was villain.
Yeah.
If she goes, she'll probably switch back.
Look, she's going to
it's
switch
a
back
soap.
and forth. We know it's going to switch
Yeah.
back and forth.
Soapy shit.
But yeah, I agree. We're done with that. She's still banging Luke, I guess, but on the DL. We'll see what happens with that. Okay. So then, and also, just as a side note, you said let's talk about Seth and Summer. So
Yeah.
Summer is a real B to Luke in this episode.
Yeah.
Luke basically, tries to be comforting to her, take her home.
And she's like, it'll never happen.
And she's just like, it's never going to happen, Luke.
Well, that's mean.
First of all,
Why?
he wasn't even barking up your tree. He wants Marissa's mom. So, let's get a grip, lady.
Though, you know what? I
mean, he would have, I'm sure, done it with her if he wanted it. But
maybe, but he wasn't trying to do
he
that.
didn't care. It was not his goal. He was just trying to be a nice person.
The point is, she can be a brat. She's
a little
not
bit of a brat.
But I like that we find out later it's a bit of a facade. Her reputation as like a valley pop.
Actually,
that was good.
Yes,
you
that
didn't
was
see
good.
it coming.
That was good. All right, so at the beginning of the Seth arc in this 4
what's the other
episodes,
girl's name? I forget.
Anna. So he's still dating Anna. And they're having this thing where everything is the same. They like the same things to drink. And that was really bothering him, which I found a little annoying.
I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, maybe if you're trying to do the exact matching thing, can be annoying. But
Yeah.
I like people that have the same interests as me.
They thought they were in a big rut. The relationship's still new.
They're high school kids, for F's sake.
I don't know. I was kind of mad about that. But anyway,
You were. You're
I
like,
was.
Look.
Although
I'm going to say it here.
Tell me.
I like Summer, and I remember this Seth's fine.
I'm back and forth.
I'm back and forth. That's fine. But I think that's the better girl to be with in the context of
Anna?
Yes.
For him, I agree.
She's nice to him.
I do
and
agree that.
likes all the stuff. I don't know.
But
whatever.
In the end, they did some good jokes about how Jay Leno is a hack, and I really enjoyed that.
Timely.
Because Summer has this new guy that's hilarious, except he's not. We find out.
She tries to date another guy.
She tries to date this guy
trying to be
kind
funny,
of get over Seth.
to be funnier than Seth. But I like Seth.
And at the end of the day, we find out from him that all she talks about is how funny Seth is.
And he tries to go over the top like Jim Carrey, and it's horrible. All the physical comedy.
Horrible. But he loves The Tonight Show. He's a big Jay Leno fan, and I love
that was implying that that's why humor sucks.
Right.
And I like the fact that when
Enjoyed that.
the girls are competing, and we find out that Summer does want to try to get an interest. Like, oh yeah, I like comic books. They had some.
Oh, that's right. They were. He was
like,
sort of.
Here's Dark Knight Returns. Here's Watchmen, and then later she's like, oh well, like Archie, and
So the girl
does.
Anna does break up with him
because she's like she likes all this stuff.
She's like, I can't compete with Summer. You're in love with Summer.
Is this the one where there's the thing where they're like basically sitting together and he's
yes.
and Sandy's
and
like,
Sandy
what are you doing?
takes him in the kitchen and is like, what are you doing, kid?
Like you can't lead this girl on. Like it's mean. It's like mean what you're doing. And I like that.
I liked it too. Sandy, of course, best character. We say it every time.
Is it a broken record?
It's a given. Well, it's a given. I mean, there's nothing new to say about it. He's great and everything. But yeah, so
she breaks up.
She breaks up with him because she's like, look, you're clearly in love with Summer. I'm not going to compete. Goodbye.
Good on her.
Which is good on her. It's heartbreaking. I'm
sad.
sure, but
yeah.
Look, who wants to be second fiddle to somebody else?
And to be fair, we know that the whole Seth Summer hate thing will be more interesting. They'll love hate.
Correct. So they start with a good day of sex, but it's a horrible day of sex.
That's the running thing.
The running gag is they are terrible
and
at
he's
it.
worried about
they
it.
try 2 or 3 different times, and every time it's horrible. She's like, oh yeah, he elbowed me in the eye, and Ryan's like, what are you even doing? Whatever. So, turns out... The twist is this big reputation of slutty Summer is all a facade.
Big lie.
Completely. She was a virgin.
Very high school.
So there are 2 virgins here that neither one of them knew what they were doing. And that was news to us. So in this last episode here, he really is having issues because she is kind of dropping him at school and like making it like he doesn't exist.
Yeah, not
she's
acknowledging
evolved,
the
not
relationship.
acknowledging. She's evolved this kissing booth type thing for
the
the
dance.
school. Yeah, for the dance. And she's like, look, you know, I'm going to do the kissing booth, da 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 da. And he's like,
yeah.
so he ends up basically, because she won't admit to the school, or to anybody really, that they're dating.
Yeah, she wants to keep it a secret.
He makes this big gesture, I think prompted by...
He jumps up on the thing.
Was that prompted by Anna? I think he came
Yeah,
to Anna and she was like, you
better fight for it.
Yeah, she was like...
See? Anna's great.
Anna is great. One of the best characters, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. So he comes to the thing and says, look, you kiss me right now in front of all these people and tell them, you know, that we're an item, da 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 da. Thoughts?
Sure. I like the gesture.
Okay.
I like the gesture. I mean, it was kind of romantic.
Yeah.
Kind of the standard formula you go with. It's kind of in the same line as Ryan running for the midnight kiss. Like, it was
This is
cliche,
true.
but I thought it was well done. I thought it was sweet. I liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess...
It was all right.
I guess I liked it. I don't like the ultimatum bits, though. I hate when people give an ultimatum.
This is the thing.
I think he should have talked a little more to her directly and said, look...
Well, he should have had a conversation with her.
Yes,
But
that's kind of how I feel about
remember,
it. But
this is his first girlfriend, and he had two really cute girls all over him. He didn't know how to deal with it.
I guess that's
He's
true.
learning. He's a kid. And that kind of leads into a question if we're done with Summer. We almost know we have to do the restaurant thing.
we're done with Summer, but yeah, I guess we have to do the restaurant thing is the only thing left. And really, there's
That's
not
about
too
it.
much to that. So Jimmy basically wants to back out of the restaurant, which we learn a little bit later is because he just is cloaked in failure and he does not want to ruin it. He doesn't want to bring Sandy down. Whereas Sandy's like, listen, I don't care about any of this. This is my fun thing. This is something we're going to do together. I hate going to this corporate world. This is going to be something fun for both of us. Let's do it. We're in. Da, 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 da. In the meantime, Jimmy seeks solace in the Kirsten's sister.
Oh, I forgot about
from
that.
before on this houseboat. She's still in town. We didn't know that she was in town.
She's still in the show,
and they didn't know she was still in town.
And she is excited to get with Jimmy.
What was the? It was a Valentine. She like sent him a Valentine.
Oh yeah,
and he didn't know who it was from.
Who do you think it was from again? Originally,
he thought maybe it was from.
It wasn't from her at first.
No, I think he thought it was from Marissa, just trying to be nice and like lift his spirits or something, right?
Yeah.
And then he thought for a second maybe it was from the mom, Julie, but then he was like, well, that can't be. And then maybe he thought it was from Kirsten because of course they shared that kiss. But no, it turns out when he went over to talk to Kirsten, he found out, oh, this is something that your sister does.
And that was, and she's excited about the prospect of being with him when she hears about the restaurant, and we know
could get some money out of the restaurant.
Also,
yes.
In these last 4 episodes, or was it the last batch where, I think it was this last one where Kirsten had an episode of bad hair, the slick back? Remember that in the middle
yes.
For half
There's
episode?
been now 2 episodes in a row of the Welcome to the OCB. But we forgot to mention it last time. The beginning of the Chrismica episode,
the hair.
Her bangs are horrible.
There was, they
and there was one episode here, it was one of the later ones, 19 or 20. And it's just
the middle's like
terrible hair.
And I usually don't care about this stuff, but like they're supposed to be pretty well put together.
You can't not notice it though.
It's like who like and the thing is they don't keep it throughout the whole episode. Somebody obviously is like, all right, let's.
After through the episode, they say, let's not do this later. Okay, we did it for 2 scenes.
That's
now
the
it's in.
OC drinking game. Drink for the bad hair.
Drink every time she's got bad hair.
Needs to happen more.
The only other thing really was Sandy, other than being great. And giving the advice all the time, trying to help Ryan.
Drink every time.
Advice to Seth. But Kirsten's dad, Caleb, comes to him to try and get one of his old buddies out of a jam.
He's like
it turns out this dude is like a pyramid scheme guy. He's like a scammer.
And he's like, I have stuff on Caleb. I could bring him down if I wanted to. And it's like, kind of like, where's this?
Which would then trickle down to Kirsten.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, Sandy, you better help me with lawyer stuff, or we're all going to go down, including Kirsten. Da, 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 da.
I didn't really quite follow. What was he doing that was bad? I wasn't sure.
I don't know.
This really shady guy who was
remember.
like a sleazy. I'm so tempted to say mafioso, but it's like
something
akin to that. Like shady and something.
Yeah, not quite. I said pyramid scheme earlier. That's more Jimmy's thing.
I just like you look at this guy, you think
some sort of shady dealings. A lot of I got the sense like some maybe under the table stuff, maybe some insider trading,
or some like bad quality products or something.
Something like that. it was sort of a
Vaguely.
C plot of that episode.
But it was an interesting scene. Like for a second, it became like
well, because the tables
Suits
turned.
or something.
The tables turned because, of course, now Sandy has the power to turn Caleb away and say, "Get out of my face."
But without consequences. It's got the consequences.
That's the problem.
By the way,
tell me.
We should do a Suits Saturday sometime. I'd watch that show with you.
I've not seen Suits.
Well, we'll do that sometime. I like Suits.
No, I've seen Burn Notice.
I never saw Burn Notice. I got into what's the other one? White Collar. These are all kind of
White Collar. They're all the USA shows.
all the Psych. Never seen Psych.
Psych. I've never seen.
Really?
I've seen a couple episodes of Monk.
Now we're just going off a tangent, but
so
point is,
USA. I forget what would the alliteration be.
USA
We love a USA.
We'll do like 1 week will be the
US
pilot
April.
of each.
USA April.
Us April.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see. Who knows?
I would watch Suits though.
I really like Suits.
I would watch Psych as well.
I like legal dramas, and Suits is fun. And also,
I heard Psych is funny.
Psych,
like it's a funny drama.
I've heard Psych would be funny, but
yeah.
Suits I think you like because every episode is littered with some TV or movie reference to something. Always.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
The princess, whatever, is in that. Okay.
And Gina Torres. Off track.
Anyway. Oh, I like her.
Yeah, she's the one. She's the boss.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Very off track. All right, so I think that's everybody, though. We've covered it all.
Okay.
So what did you want to pick my brain about?
Well, it's interesting because as we've been doing this, I was... this
great show.
This is really... I'm getting there. I'm interested. I always have to build it up.
Yeah.
It's interesting because... When we started this, it was kind of an offhand joke.
It really was. It sort of festered over years.
Festered, and now we're kind of
decided to do.
Enjoying it.
Now we love this show.
And I was thinking for a while, like, what is up with this? Am I really liking this? And I'm realizing I do. And then we looked it up briefly and found out it has a bit of a following. It is critics did like it for its kind of meta humor and its self-awareness. And
we knew it was big at the time.
But I thought
it was more flash in the pan.
I didn't think it had like a cult following.
Like, for example, Empire. First season, everybody was talking about Empire. What's Cookie going to do? It's only been off the air not even a year. Nobody talks about Empire.
I actually forgot about it.
You forgot it existed.
I know people were talking about it was on.
Nobody talks about it anymore.
It's kind of like...
But this was one of these shows where it's like...
And
Glee actually is another one that people still sort of talk about Glee, but like Glee was really, really hot for like 2 years.
And also it ended much later than the OC, I guess, because it came out later, right? That's more recent, right?
Yes. Glee?
Yeah.
By about 7 or 8 years, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, apparently OC has a bit of a following, and maybe it's because it's on streaming services and on YouTube, people like always try to talk about what's trending. I've seen like several videos.
And here's what I was surprised by.
And analysis and stuff about why OC is great, secretly why OC. I'm like, so this is like a...
The reason we even figured out this is on HBO Max is because I was watching a YouTube
they were
video,
advertising it.
And the 30-second HBO Max commercial that came in front of
included this.
It showed like 4 things, and OC was one of them. I was like, damn, they're trying to get people to watch by saying they have the OC.
Which means they know that this has some pedigree somewhere. And I'm like,
which
really?
I didn't realize either.
So this is something we kind of missed, that this show apparently is kind of beloved by at least a decent amount of people, has a following, and I guess critically it's maybe smarter than I gave it credit for.
I certainly didn't realize it was as clever and sharply written
as it is.
And we talked about this when we were watching them, because we had that really heavy episode in the hotel with Oliver and the gun.
Yeah.
The next episode
Light and fluffy.
Was hilarious.
Yep.
And it had the Luke and Marissa's mom storyline. Like it had all of these, and there was some stuff with Teresa and whatever. But like
it knows when to kind of take you away from the melodrama.
But it gave us some laughs after that heavy episode.
Yeah.
Which I thought was also very well done.
No, you got to do that. That's smart.
So is your question, why is it so beloved? Or is it not a question?
Well,
we just want to talk about.
No, it's kind of along those lines. Like I think that's part of it. But here's my question. Being as you know that I don't typically like the teen drama, soapy shows like this.
Right.
OC is about as deep as I've gotten into one.
Okay.
Really. So here's the thing.
All right.
When we're making fun of, like, when we're talking about it as we're watching, like, oh man, this character's making a dumb decision, or we hate this character. Now I'm thinking, well, is this because it's badly written, or is this on purpose? Is this clever? I'm having a hard time judging it. Like, for instance, Marissa. Mm-hmm. Is she this way on purpose? Is it secretly brilliant, or is it bad? I don't know anymore. Seth, is he horrible? You're annoyed with him, but I'm like, well, he's a kid. He's growing. I can't tell.
We were all very annoyed that Seth did not believe Ryan.
Seth is
with the Oliver stuff. That pissed me off.
With the girls, the with him and the two girls, how he's been handling that, and him being a D to Ryan, not confiding in him. I don't really like Seth as much as I used to.
No, I go back and forth.
So
on
I'm just wondering,
is
how much of this is intentional? I'm just wondering because.
Well, look. Every soap, whether it's teens or otherwise, you went through Desperate Housewives a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, Ally McBeal, we both enjoyed. You know, whether it's teens or adults, nighttime soaps, and of course daytime soaps have to do it exponentially because they're on 5 days a week. But nighttime soaps are known for being over the top.
Sure.
Characters that make silly decisions. And such. But
well, it's just you're watching it getting angry. And then I'm like, so
I am very invested in these characters, and that is the point.
So you're angry at Marissa for being dumb, not for being badly written?
No, because I think they want you
just checking
to be angry.
I'm invested
at your screen. They do,
and that's successful. And that's the thing about OC.
Yeah,
and
I think that's why it's actually pretty great. And here's what we should actually do.
Tell me.
Well, it'll never happen. It's too far down the line of life. But we should, as a comparison, a compare and contrast, we should watch the first 4 episodes only. We're not going to go deep diving.
Man,
we'll pick like 3 shows. We'll pick like 90210 original.
Never seen it.
The Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
And maybe like I've never seen One Tree Hill, but I was thinking the same.
That's the other one.
I was thinking like One Tree Hill's kind of in that same
Degrassi's
vein.
kind of in that vein too, right?
Actually, Degrassi might be in that same vein too. We should
some of these classic teen dramas.
Because I don't think one episode gives you a good enough idea. But the first 4 episodes, because right within the first 4 episodes of OC, we
were
knew,
kind of interested.
We were like, okay, Luke is the bully, but he saved Ryan. There were already layers to people that were interesting.
I didn't love it, but I was kind of like, there's something about this show that I am genuinely interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And so you want to see, like, compare how those other ones measure up.
And maybe not until we're done the OC, or maybe after the shootout episode in season 2 or whatever.
See, the thing is, I want to get to the shootout because that's most iconic. But I can't imagine getting to the shootout and not wanting to see how it follows. But I'm pretty sure that after the shootout, the show goes downhill.
Exponentially, I would imagine.
It's kind of what I hear. That's the peak.
So that might be an interesting experiment. Watch the first 4 of these other teen dramas to just compare and contrast.
Just to kind of see.
Within the same, 10-year period. Like, 90210 was all through the 90s. Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill were on at the same time as the OC. Dawson's Creek maybe a little more
I think
earlier.
Degrassi and
Degrassi, I think, was 90s and early 2000s as well.
So these are the ones. These are the
so
big
they were
ones.
all right in the peers of the OC.
But the weird thing is, all those other shows I would have thought of before the OC when I think about teen drama. I just think this is like a throwaway copy of that. This is like a subversion.
Yeah, it's funny.
This is like
I do too.
A commentary on that, and I'm like, this show is a little
it's very interesting,
tongue in cheek. That's basically.
Now look, I was a huge 90210 fan when it was out, but how does it hold up 30 years on? I mean, it started in 1990. I was in high school when it came out, so for me, I was the target. But how it holds up now, I am unsure. It might be god awful. Whereas this is 20 years old, and it holds up pretty well, I think.
Dumb question. Can you get actual daytime soaps on DVD?
No.
Oh, really?
Now, you know me and my bootleg guys. I have a lot of guys that I get, TV shows that are not available anywhere that they will burn from their old VHS. And there are, I've never bought one, but there's a guy I know that will do, it's not even on DVD because there would be too many, but he has every episode of One Life to Live, every episode of General Hospital on a thumb drive.
Like if you wanted to watch,
that's like a 8 terabyte thumb
General
drive or
Hospital,
whatever.
how would you ever start from the? You never could.
Never could.
That's it. Really.
The only one I can say that's been released on DVD that I know of complete is Dark Shadows.
You know something?
Which is a bit of an outlier because it's
fantasy
more than a soap.
But I'll tell you what. I'd watch Dark Shadows at some time.
I've thought about getting Dark Shadows on DVD. It's like $300 for the whole series, but it's so expensive. I might want to talk to one of my guys. But the point is, no, really though, I would actually watch Dark Shadows.
Because I've seen clips of it when I was a kid, and if there was a soap opera, I want
Barnabas Collins or whatever.
Yeah,
Depp.
Sure, but the point is. soap operas and soap opera things kind of fascinate me because they're so popular. And I will admit, if I'm really bored sometimes, I have watched soap operas back in the past.
Wow.
Hey, General Hospital had a mafia.
I watched General Hospital for a bit in the 90s because we would go to my buddy's house after school and she loved the Luke and Laura storyline. So I actually, if you ask me some 90s General Hospital trivia, mid-90s, I might know some of the plots, yes.
Actually, to be honest, I think what fascinates me about those is just how drawn out they are.
Very drawn out.
And
that's the thing. You could pick it up a year after you stop watching.
Oh, they're still in the same room.
And nothing changed.
That's amazing to me.
You know.
But, Dallas, I'd be interested in. I know people.
I actually, when the reboot happened, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, whenever that was, I actually did. This is when I was getting DVDs from Netflix. I got the first few discs from Netflix and watched maybe the first 5, 6 episodes.
Oh, really?
It was interesting.
Okay.
It was very interesting.
But the point is, because it's not really my wheelhouse, I was just looking at the OC and I'm like, I don't know if I'm like how I feel about it. Like, am I supposed to feel that way or is it bad writing? So you think this is probably pretty intentional?
Well, because they need to keep you invested. And you have to have good guys, you have to have bad guys, and you have to have people that you want to strangle because they make such dumb decisions.
But the thing is this, and this is the key.
Tell me.
Marissa might be naive and gullible and dumb, whatever, but I still care about her. I don't want to see her... That's where I think it gets tricky because you have to still care about her.
Well, I care about her
because Ryan cares.
Because Ryan cares about her, and I like Ryan.
But otherwise, you think she's just a dumb bee at this
Otherwise,
point.
Goodbye. Get off the show. But no, she's interesting enough for the plots with Ryan, and now there's a triangle with her and Teresa and Ryan. Like, there's always something
to keep it
going on to keep it interesting.
Okay, so that's just soap, basically.
I think it's soap.
Okay,
yeah,
and that's why we like comic books because they're just soap operas with superpowers.
Well, you're not wrong. And listen, that's why people like wrestling.
Wrestling, oh yeah, wrestling.
Soap opera in prime time with muscles.
That's it.
Absolutely. So, look, that's the OCB for this week. We'll watch another batch of episodes. Like I said, there's only 2 more episodes that we'll be doing of Welcome to the OCB for Season 1. Then we're done. And then we'll move on to Season 2, I guess.
And I guess also we'll probably be talking about Hannibal for the double and maybe getting on that show next month, right?
Hannibal should start in February because we're going to watch Silence of the Lambs and, what did we decide, Red Dragon or something?
We'll flip a coin. Red Dragon, Hannibal. Both would be appropriate.
And we'll start watching the show Hannibal, which I am very excited about.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's not very long. We should be able to get through it in...
I think there's only 30-some episodes. I think it's 3 seasons, but they're like 13 episodes each or something like that. Yeah. So, shouldn't be too bad.
What's next after Hannibal? You got to plan ahead.
Well, that we'll talk about, I guess. We still have to do... You are getting on me about all the Superman stuff.
Well, we have to get on all of that. That doesn't have to be a regular thing,
at some point,
we should get some Superman stuff.
But also Suits.
I think you'd like Suits.
I probably would. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye from the OCB.